turning what looked improbable into a sure thing. They will represent the National League after this 4-3 winner, finishing up the San Diego Padres at home. Zach Wheeler opened it up, was solid. 6 innings of 3-hit work, giving up 2 runs on a Juan Soto home run. But it was not enough in the end as the Philadelphia Phillies come from behind. An 8th inning home run from Bryce Harper catapults them to their first World Series since 2009. And for instant reaction, we say hello to our MLB insider, David Samson. David, improbable is not impossible, and we have to lead off here with Bryce Harper in the 8th inning. The exact moment he is paid to play in, delivers in the biggest way. What a ball game we saw.
When he signed that free agent deal, this is what they needed. They wanted him to win at least 1 World Series to make that deal worthwhile. They haven't had an opportunity to even sniff it. Now, because of the bat of Bryce Harper, they have a chance. They're 4 victories away. They still have many years left on his deal, but wow, this Philly team came together, and it all started with a managerial change, something that doesn't work often. The magic happened in 03 with the Marlins, and after that, teams have tried it, but this year, getting rid of Girardi and bringing in Rob Thompson has been a huge difference maker. The team has played loose, fun, and ready to win, and that's all they've done since that managerial change is win. And then you've got 2 aces at the top of the lineup. Wheeler, he pitched like an ace. That's the bottom line. And they had Nola ready to go in case they lost this game. And then Suarez, who ends up throwing the final pitch, getting the final out. He was your Game 7 starter, which you don't need. Now you have 4 days off, and you wait with your 87 victories to either go to New York or Houston.
So much to unpack here as they will represent the National League. 87 wins, you just said it. And so much of what we deal in here is statistical, analytical. But this is one of those ball clubs that has the intangible about them. They're fun to watch. They're fun to watch put together these winning efforts. What has made them so successful over these last 6 weeks that they've just caught in fire and found themselves in this moment?
Well, the bullpen has been lights out. And that's been something that the Phillies have struggled with in the last couple of years. They did not have a great bullpen. Secondly, they signed Schwarber and Castellanos. They sacrificed defense looking for offense, and they put Schwarber at the top of the lineup, which is, he's not a leadoff hitter, but he has done a terrific job this postseason. He's gotten on base, he's hit home runs, and then you've got a deep lineup. Look at Hoskins.
Yeah.
Hoskins is your MVP except for Bryce Harper, so he's your second place MVP. They haven't named him yet, but that's my guess. And when you have that length of lineup, it sort of reminds you of Houston.
Very much so, and this is only the 4th time that a team with 87 wins or fewer will make their way to the World Series. All 3 of those prior teams did go on to win the World Series, most recently the 06 Cardinals, and you spoke to it there. The production at the top of the lineup. Rhys Hoskins, fantastic. Kyle Schwarber in moments, especially early in this series, great. And Bryce Harper here in the decisive moment. When the players come to play the way they do in these moments, you said it before, managerial effectiveness is there. But when your players execute in the way that the Phillies do in these moments, I mean, it almost makes them seem inevitable, from improbable now to inevitable.
So when you look at this 5 games, are we talking about the Phillies defense right now? Are we talking about their bullpen? There was no blow-ups, no blowouts. These were close, tight games. What we're talking about is the fact that the offense came through when they needed it to come through. You've got Harper up in the 8th inning with the runner on. When you're running that team, you're Dave Dombrowski trying to get back to the World Series. You just put your pen down, you put your phone down, and you're watching that inning because that's exactly who you want up at the plate. That's exactly who you need up at the plate. I want to give credit to John Middleton right now, the owner of the Phillies. He said, I want to spend stupid money. He wanted to win. He was desperate to win. He was dealing with Scott Boras. He was dealing with anyone to get as many players as possible, and he's done it. He has now won a pennant. There is no greater feeling. I actually enjoyed winning the pennant in Chicago more than winning the World Series in New York. It's hard to explain that, and I get it, but it was far more satisfying knowing, wow, we're going to the World Series. We've won the pennant.
Some notable moments at the friendly confines way back when, I'm sure. But notable here in this series was Bryce Harper and what he did there, but what he did prior as well. 11 extra base hits. That home run was his 11th, which is the most extra base hits by a Phillies ball player in the postseason ever. Ryan Howard had 10 in 09, and Harper still got at least 4 games to play here. So we'll see where that number lands, but it speaks to how fantastic he was in these decisive moments. Let's talk about the Padres here for a moment, too, because they showed great resolve in this game. They were chasing through those middle innings. Yu Darvish gives you 6+, 2 runs, which came on one swing of the bat there from Rhys Hoskins, 4 hits scattered, struck out 5. The Padres continued to claw back. What was the missing piece for them in this game and in this series?
Well, first of all, let's give credit to the Padres.
Most definitely.
A.J. Preller made a lot of moves, and those deadline moves were working. Soto was working, although he didn't play great when he was signed, and he came alive here the last couple games of this LCS, able to get home runs, but he did not ever get production at the top of the lineup above him. There was a stat where Machado and Soto did not take any at-bats with runners on base, very few. So A.J. Preller brings in Bell, brings in Soto, brings in Hader, brings in Josh Hader, the #1 closer, Josh Hader, a lefty, Josh Hader, to pitch to Bryce Harper, Josh Hader. They kept Josh Hader on ice. He never got into the game. When you lose a game that's an elimination game for you, and you do it with your best player sitting in the bullpen, there's going to be a lot of questions asked, and I'm happy to explain why it happened.
We don't often operate in the hypothetical, but for a moment, let's delve. How does this series look different if Fernando Tatis Jr. is a part of it?
Well, Fernando Tatis, forget being the face of baseball. He's one of the best shortstop in baseball, and I'm not willing to say he's one of the best simply because of steroids. He was one of the best before he even did steroids. So the fact of the matter is having him, that makes the lineup even lengthier. It gives you so many options. Tatis, can you imagine Tatis and Soto, all with Bell, just all right there in the lineup? It would have been a big difference maker, but if you're the Padres, you go to spring training next year, you're one of the favorites in the National League. They have the pitching, they've got the pen, they've got the offense, and they came close. Remember, when you read that this was a 5-game series, you're going to think blowout. Much like when you see the Yankees down 3-0, blowouts. Well, not as much as you'd think. The Padres had a chance every single game.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll pick it all apart and assess it over the days and weeks to come, but there is some solace in the fact that they do get one over on Big Brother in L.A. to clear that hurdle and move forward to what lies ahead next season. As for what lies ahead for the Philadelphia Phillies, Game 1, not till Friday, so now a layoff that they haven't dealt with in some time. How's that affect the way you're seeing the potential matchup with either side on the American League?
So they're home right now. So what happens is they're going to party tonight, and they're going to get an off day tomorrow. Then they're going to come back still in Philadelphia. This is how I would operate. Come back on Tuesday and do a workout. And then I'm traveling Wednesday for the Friday World Series because Thursday's media day, and you're going to have a workout on the field either in New York or in Houston. The reason you can't travel today, right now, is you don't know where you're going. But the traveling secretary is sitting on his hands because you're celebrating and letting the guys sleep in their own beds. San Diego's flying back. They wish they were flying back with Philadelphia, but they couldn't even get one game. Now, Phillies have 4 days off. What does it mean? Your rotation is set up and you've got options. You can do Wheeler on regular rest. You can do Nola on extended rest. And then you've got Suarez, even though he pitched 2 pitches today, he's ready to go for Game 3. So you're lined up however you want to do it, and that is a great position to be in. But to stay sharp, you have the workout Tuesday. You're going to do simulated at-bats, not a simulated game, but you're going to take hard batting practice, serious infield practice. You're going to do all of that to stay sharp.
The light posts have been greased in Philly, and the party is on. Party's not stopping for some time as Game 1 of the World Series is coming your way on Friday. He is David Samson. David, we appreciate you. All right, taking a look at that mid-season mix-up. Managers that took over in the middle of the year. Rob Thompson in 2022. It's out in front of them. 2003, notable.
I sort of remember that.
Yeah, do you?
Trying to think why.
A part of that World Series, a ring on his finger. We'll see where it all lands. Rob Thompson going to represent the National League with the Phillies in this year's World Series. And the conversation has just begun. Be sure to download and subscribe to Nothing Personal with David Samson, our guy, offering up his unique perspective on all things ball, including this NL Series. NLCS now final with the Phillies moving on to play in the World Series.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.